Is it just me, or I have less stuff in here? Okay. Wait, I don't have a Corsair Vulture. Interesting. Alright. Well, let's go look. Placeholder fish tank. Weird. I mean, I have a lot of my stuff here, so. Okay, I don't remember having that. Doesn't seem like the data carried over. Oh well. It is what it is. Let's just, Cool. Alright, let's check out this paladin real quick. Looks. Is this bigger than the Valkyrie? It seems like it. Alright, how do I get in here? Mm-hmm. Oh boy. I hope everyone had a good weekend. I was supposed to get on a little earlier, but I wasn't feeling too great, so. But feeling a little better now. Alright, how does one get in here? I will. Okay, certainly not through the rear. Wait, is it on this side? Nope. Uh, oh. Nope, that's the fuel port. Airlock? Alright. Okay, so that's interesting. Okay, I thought airlock was just airlock. Fancy. Alright. Alright. Alright, so it looks like we got the armory. Not bad. So as soon as you come in, there's an armory. Deploy weapon. Alright, so I guess this is for the bigger weapons. Alright, how do you close this? Oh. Suit lockers. Oh, nice. You know what this reminds me of? Kind of reminds me of Halo a little bit. Let's see, what's down here? Alright, so it looks like we got... Interesting. Remote turret, remote turret. Okay, so these are remote turrets, so... Alright. Okay, so these actually can also work as engineer guys as well as like... Yeah, so these guys have quick access to engineering while the pilot can be up here. Alright, we got a little place to hang out in. Can you sit on this side? Okay. Let's see. Seats, table, place to put stuff. Let's see what else is here. Alright, and this is the second crew quarters. Nice. Not too shabby. Okay, we got lockers. Very nice. Actually, wait, what was the storage in these lockers? So it is 450K micro SU. Nice. And then, oh, this is the engineering. So there's a relay, terminal. So what I don't get is that the shiv is not gold standard. Like, I feel like that's just, I find that kind of odd. And this is the cockpit. Nice. Or bridge, actually. Yeah, so for some odd reason, the paint that I got is not in there. Hey, Squirrel. Yeah, the Paladin's actually kind of cool. Haven't taken it out yet. Just logged in for the first time. In the PTO. So apparently a lot of my stuff is missing. So yeah. I was hoping to probably go over CitizenCon in detail a little bit today. Just because I was at Bar Citizen yesterday and I had the ultimate pleasure of meeting John Crew and Ben Curtis, the guys who make the ships and design them. So it was really cool talking with them and getting an idea where their heads were at. And also, Ben Curtis is probably one of the coolest guys I've ever met. Yeah, we talked about a lot of things that weren't SC related, so it was kind of nice. No news about the bad new merchantman, so couldn't get anything on that one. Oh, there's the bathroom. Nice, and I guess the show. Holy crap! It's a mirror. Oh, that's a cursed mirror. Yeah. So one thing that I've already actually mentioned this to Execute and Salty Mike. So John Crew was actually sort of said that he was kind of using these like little like meet and greets. Yeah. I think I did. I may have seen you live. Yeah, it's yeah, let me see. I don't think it's like a true mirror though. I think it's one. It's like a. Yeah, let's just go back up here. It's a little cursed, but it works. Hold on. Does it? Hmm. You know, my guy's like, I should really shave. Yeah. Okay. That's actually a good transition. So just going straight to the exit. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm already liking them ship. And I believe this is an SCU grid here. Hold on, let me test it. According to this ship, we are not vampires. All right, let me get an SCU crate up and running. Also, is the game streaming here? Game audio. No, it is not. All right, there we go. We now have game audio. I just realized. Do I have an SCU crate anywhere? Yeah, I actually wish we could create more characters, to be honest. So yeah. Um, so we can swap them anytime. Okay, none of my containers are here, so let's try. Do I have any boxes or anything? Guess not. Hmm. I don't think I can fit a fish tank in there, right? Oh, okay. Yep, we're not doing fish tank. Alright, but it looks like it is 4 SCU of boxes, so it's actually not bad. Gotcha. No, I actually upgraded to the Paladin. I was holding on to the upgrade for the Paladin for a while, and I was on the fence about getting it, but after seeing a few like glimpses of it, it was really cool. Yeah, so heavy fighters are in a really bad spot. Like, they're not tanky enough to compensate for their slow maneuverability and speed. And really, like, they can, aside from other heavy fighters, I don't see them being any useful. Because I love the F8 in terms of design. I'm a big fan of Gradius, and it's my favorite. It's the closest ship to Victory Viper. But I really don't like what they did with the heavy, the whole entire like light, medium, heavy archetypes they've been doing. So I really do hope that the new flight model they're testing makes that better, because right now it's a really tough spot. There's just no point running heavy fighters right now, unless it's for like unless you're working in a group. Yeah, especially the Ares, man. Like the Ares have just suffered consistently. Yeah. All right, we have a microwave. Wait, we don't have a coffee maker. All right, immediate bed. Yeah, so yeah, the game I used to play all the time was Gradius 3 on the Super Nintendo. And I still have my working Super Nintendo from over 30 years ago, and it still works. However, my cartridge for I think Super Mario, I think World or something, stopped working, but my Gradius 3 cartridge still works. Yeah. Okay, cool. Guess we can take this out for a spin. Actually, let me get suited up first. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not going out there with a shirt. So, Squirrel, how often do you go live? Like the oh yeah, shoes. I don't remember getting this. All right, not a big fan of it. Let's see. Do I have another set of armor? Yeah, I do. Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, yeah. Would you like to guess my in-game name? think my name appears right here. I don't? Oh, okay. Well, my in-game name is actually Gradius Valkyrie, funny enough. So you can see, like, that name has been with me ever since the Super Nintendo days. Yeah. And to this day, I still play it, whether it be on my emulator or actually on my own console. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, hit me up. Yep, Radius Valkyrie right there. So, all right, cool. Yeah, I'll definitely add you. Yeah. All right. Now that I actually have a suit, actually, hold on, I need a tractor beam too. Yeah, take this out. Where am I? Where is my tractor beam? Oh, there it is. Yeah, it doesn't seem like all the stuff came in properly. I mean, it's not a big deal. Let's see. Actually, I have Victory Viper. Actually, hold on. Let me check my backlog here. I think I have 5 Victory Viper models. One sec. Yeah, I do have. Yeah, actually, move this stuff over. Hold on. Yep. Hold on, let me get my camera here. Alright, so check this out. I have Victory Viper 5, Victory Viper 4, Victory Viper 2, and 5-player 1. Uh, ooh. Honestly, I vote Victory Viper. And funny that you mentioned Robotech. Hold on a minute. I know Macross and Robotech don't really talk to each other anymore, but I do have VF29, Durandal, and VF19 as well. And I found this actually at an earlier convention. I'm not too sure. I'm actually not familiar with this one. Sylphide? No, that's actually another VTuber. Serial. So yeah. But yeah, so like I do stream like doing like trading card games as well every now and then when I'm doing deck building. And I do plan on doing some model kit building just for fun, just to chat. All right. Yeah, actually, hold on, Squirrel. Have you played the Mecha Break yet? Oh. Yeah, Mecha Break actually is pretty fun. If you played Armored Core 6 recently, or any of the Gundam Extreme Versus games, it kind of feels like a combination of the two. No, I've never seen your streams. I see you pop up in my recommended feed. Funny enough. No, don't worry about it. Like, I still have... Let's see, my thumbnails... I just have, like, a template I do. So, yeah. Like, I mainly just stream for fun, you know, chit-chat and all that. And, if anyone wants to subscribe and like, they are free to do so. So, yeah. Yeah, my goal is to try to stream at least once a week, and then maybe put out a video or two every now and then. Oh boy. That sounds so angry. I like it. Oh, Herbert, the old guy. Get your ass back here. Yeah. Actually, let me change a few things here. So, I don't usually go into BTU very often, so none of the settings are carried over. Where's the stupid weapon, like, pilot, is strength, weapon, magnify, weapon, default convergence, weapon, manual gimbal, targeted, look ahead, turret, look ahead, driver, vehicle, recoil, oh, here it is. Vehicle recoil scale, we're gonna go down that to, like, 0.3, just, we'll do 0.1. There we go. Oh, hey, Lau. How's it going? Roberon! How dare you? How dare you identify as another person? Well, how's it going, man? Sorry I missed your Twitch stream, your Twitch thing yesterday. Not yesterday, last week. That's actually another thing too. I actually forgot to get my Twitch chat up. Yeah. But yeah, how you been, Robon? It's been, I don't know, it's been a while. Well, actually, Robon, I've been streaming on YouTube more often now. Um, just because like Twitch, I don't know why. I don't know really what's going on with Twitch. Like for me, I don't get much traction there. But I do both anyway because I know there are some people that follow me only on Twitch. So yeah, but funny enough, actually, YouTube is catching up to Twitch followers. So if I can get to YouTube partner, that'd be awesome. So I can do other things too, like polls and stuff. Those will be fun. Oh goody, I'm being targeted. Okay. Waiting to land. Yeah. But once I land and check to see what that cargo hold is like, I do want to like talk about my experience at Bar Citizen. So I did have the pleasure of speaking with John Crew and Ben Curtis from the ship development team. So they're like the leads of like what's going to be scheduled to come out and all that. And yeah. So I was able to ask them a little bit about some of the ships. Like the Arastra probably won't be coming out for a bit until our findings really out. And yeah, I mean Ben Curtis is just a really cool guy. Like I really liked him a lot. So to those of you who saw CitizenCon, how'd you guys feel about it? I thought it was, I mean, compared to like the last 2 years, definitely it's underwhelming. But honestly, I feel like this is better in some sense because it doesn't feel like too much money is wasted and time is taken away from the development team to, get stuff done. And whoopsies! Oh, wait, oh, I'm decoupled, no wonder. I just realized that. That's what I get for looking at my text while trying to land. Oops. Alright, what's my damage? Oh wait, good, no damage, cool. Hey, Cake. Gotcha. Well, Cake, just a forewarning, I am live. There's actually people chatting in YouTube, so, but they can't hear you, so you are just a voice in my head. Yes. Yeah. Also, the Anvil Paladin is a angry mofo. Yeah, but here I'm in the PT right now. This is what it is. I mean, I love. Okay, I love the interior of this ship. It's very well put together and well thought out. Yeah, side port and airlock. So this looks like it can dock as well with other ships. So immediately when you come in, you get your armory and your suit lockers, and quick access to the cockpit straight up the stairs. But also the two remote turrets are down here, so these guys can immediately run out to get to the engineering area. Hmm? There's only one exit. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing is though, like, it's not that hard to get out. You just quickly run down the stairs. Yep. Four, actually. Yeah, I'm actually about to test that right now, so give me a sec. You're about to see it. Hold on. Actually, do you mind being heard on live? Otherwise, or not. All right, you guys are. I'm not hallucinating. All right. To be fair, you are.
Drunk enough for this.
All right, they should be able to hear you now. So,
Lovely.
all right.
In case you can't tell, I'm Cake, the man whose voice is routinely in this poor sod's head, and usually the cynic when it comes to ship criticisms.
Yeah, I was watching even Lisa's review. Yeah, this thing beats the Hurricane and the Scorpius. Just the fact that it has more guns, more more like coverage when fully like manned.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it literally is a direct competitor in a lot of respects, except it's heavier, it's better armed, and because it has two side swiveling turrets, it's essentially got better arcs of fire. I suppose the only comparable ship at this point might be the Redeemer.
The Redeemer needs so much work, and the worst part is I like the Redeemer in several aspects, and yet someone always keeps taking the turtle.
What can we say? We're all a lovely bunch here on SD.
Yeah.
And who knows who's making turtle soup at this hour? Could be anyone.
Also, NPCs are looking pretty good actually in terms of response.
We've come a long way from the days of these guys T-posing over your cafeteria bench.
True. All right, let's take a
Although
look
that's not
here.
exactly a high bar to compare to, so forget I said anything.
All right, let's take a look here. Containers. There we go.
So, if I heard correctly, this is all going to live, what, next week? Presumably? Maybe?
Probably.
It should be okay. I mean, I'm not expecting much trouble, and besides, I mean, how many paladins can the game really have? You know what? Forget I said anything. Actually, this thing's going to turn into the whole Redeemer thing again, where everyone flies one of these things, and you can't tell whether it's armed with the teeth or the turret or not.
Well, this is like Redeemer times 2. That's the thing.
Redeemer, but with curiously less crew requirements if you don't mind the pilot taking over the two wingtip guns.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the Redeemer itself is also 4-man. So, yeah.
Yeah, at full capacity, it's a 4-man.
Yeah. And also, the Paladin also has double the SCU capacity.
Although, again, going from 2 to 4 ain't saying much.
Mm-hmm.
Now, instead of fitting 2 boxes of goods, now you can fit 4 boxes of goods.
Well, mostly
You now
goods.
have enough to compete with the starter ship.
We're not gonna talk about the Stinger!
Oh, come on, how bad could it possibly be? FYI, I don't have chat up right now, so I can't tell what they're saying, but do let me know if they're saying anything interesting.
Well, the Stinger needs work. So...
the Stinger.
Yeah, well, okay, I already mentioned earlier in the stream, like, the heavy fighters are just not in a good place right now.
They never have been.
Yeah.
That's
Also, by the way,
say.
yeah. Also, you know, weirdly enough, the Shiv, even though it has the same amount of like shielding as the Cutlass, being that is literally just a scraped together Cutlass, it actually has. It's classified as a It's classified as a heavy fighter.
Not the first time I've heard that. The Guardian's a heavy fighter too, lest we forget. Turns out it's fielded like a heavy fighter. But it is one, apparently.
There's a guy in chat named Azure Commander that says cake sucks.
Ah, yeah, screw you too, Commander.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know who this guy is.
Doesn't make me know. Oh, look at it this way. If you don't remember who he is, it can't be important.
We just have selective amnesia.
Couldn't tell you.
And I forgot to get a tractor beam. Actually, this is a good time to test out the tractor beams too, funny enough.
Oh yeah, I heard the tractor beams are faster now. Like,
yeah.
A lot faster. Like, you can use cargo boxes as a club now, if you really feel like it.
Yeah. The one thing I really wish that the elevators from the hangars go straight to like the cargo center, instead of us having to go to the lobby, terminal, then go to another elevator, transit over. Because in Pyro you can go straight to it.
Although, now that I'm thinking about it, doesn't this essentially render the Atlas useless?
No, because the Atlas is the only thing that does the whole entire like auto, like placement
like, it
thing.
stacks the box for you, no doubt.
Yeah. So it actually, it's still technically better because it also has a better range as well.
At the expense of being the slowest mech ever conceived.
Well, you can put jump packs on it, to be fair.
Yeah, but isn't that only the mining one?
I think you might be able to put it on others too now. Don't quote me.
Well, at least it's slightly less slow. I would have settled for faster than, like, a crawling baby, though, as a speed limit.
Yeah, well, you can just tractor beam it.
There's always that option.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and speaking of the tractor beams, are they finally using the batteries they literally sell at shops?
I don't think so.
Back when that was first introduced, I bought the batteries thinking the tractor beam needed the batteries, because why would you put them in the shop if you're not going to use them? I bought a bunch and then I realized that the tractor beams don't actually use the batteries. Now, like, you've got to be kidding me.
I think it's just. I honestly think it's just them going like, "This is an idea," and then the players like, "We hate that idea," and they're like, "Okay,
Very good.
maybe we shouldn't do that idea for now."
Very good, Robert. You got me.
Yeah.
You got me with that one. You put something in the shop that serves literally no function. It looks like it's supposed to. Crap. Well, I guess I don't understand game design as well as I thought. I suppose I'll just retire now.
Well, I don't know. Do you want to play a little bit of SC? Like, this is the PTU, but so we're not going to be able to play with the Paladin on live.
I mean, I would, but the only problem is I don't have the PTU client, and thus would have to wait for the entire thing to download.
Okay. You want to go do an ASD thing on the main thing?
I have half a mind to do that. What time is it? Oh, it's 10:51.
It's
Okay.
10:51, so I don't know if you have time. So we're just going to do some
Yeah.
testing real quick, and then I do want to actually discuss what we saw at CitizenCon.
Which will be interesting because, as you may have guessed, I have not been keeping up to date exactly. That's been really fast now.
Yeah, look at this. Whee!
Well, I can't see anyone abusing this particular mechanic.
Yep.
Don't quote me on that either.
Alright. So the annoying part is going through the door.
Ah, yes, and now someone must open the airlock. So the question is, do you want to hold it behind you and then back in?
Yep.
We're gonna have to line this up just right.
Yeah.
Alright, so where is the cargo grid?
Right over. It might want single SCU at this point. Yeah, we're gonna want singles, but it's not impossible to maneuver. There it is.
That is a hell of a place to put this thing.
Yeah, it looks like it's 2. It's 4 SCU.
It's 2 and 2. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a heck of a place to put it, though. It almost feels like it's not meant to be removed. It's just meant to be like a long-term storage on the ship that you can replace.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Or if you find something out there, you can just throw it on the grid.
Although I don't know what you'll find where one SCU of it is really worth this much trouble.
Well, for one, just in case you need to bring an SCU with you when like doing looting and stuff.
I mean, I guess it helps, yeah, but you have to drag the box through the airlock again. And as you may have surmised, it's easier said than done.
No, I got it. It's actually
Every
easier.
time I hear the clanking of this thing against the walls, it brings back visions of those days when we feared these things phasing through the floor and then the ship exploding beneath us.
Okay, wow.
This
Okay, it looks like
this game has given me trauma, man.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's getting better.
I mean, yeah, at least we're not exploding spontaneously anymore. Remember the invisible door glitch for the hangars?
Yes. Oh my. Ah! Get your ass in there.
Good times. Good time.
All right. Yep. 4 SCU.
Congratulations! You can stuff 4 SCU in the ship. Now to figure out what I'm gonna do with 4 SCU.
All right. So being that it's almost 11 o'clock, I think it's a good time to get started with the CitizenCon stuff, and then we'll go from there.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yep. All right. So.
I mean, I hate to say it, but and before we continue, I'm just going to say on the subject of heavy fighters, you don't fly a heavy fighter because you like combat performance.
No.
Fly a heavy fighter because nothing else has the range and still fight. And has at least some acceptable maneuverability.
Honestly, I'm so sad about heavy fighters right now because I love my F8. Like I love the way it looks because it's the closest thing to Victory Viper from Gradius, and I love it.
And yet, here we are, where the F8 is literally outcompeted by every other heavy fighter in one category or another, and it's still useless as a general platform.
I love how like some people are like, oh, it's just a civilian version. Cool, but I can, as a civilian, I seem to have access to much better options.
I understand we had to dumb it down a little for the general market, but also, really?
Yeah. All right.
Guardian
So,
outflies it. Vanguard presumably has better missile payload and, or in some cases, even gunnery, and has a turret slot.
mhm.
Um, what else? What else is going to fit in here? I think the only thing this thing categorically beats hands down is probably the Ares, and uh, every time I remember the Ares, and I think to myself, why have you done this?
Oh yeah, and sorry, Roberon, I was ignoring you on Twitch because I did not have the Twitch chat on. That's my bad. All
Uh,
right.
I don't even, you know what? I don't call the Ares a heavy fighter anymore. I call it what it is, a very, very crappy bomber.
It pretty much is.
Because, let's be honest, you're not going to hit anything that's moving with this.
No, no. Ares needs all the love right now, and yeah, we're just not getting it. In fact, it's getting the opposite of love. Yeah,
Oh, oh, Crusader.
yeah. So yeah, that's actually quite a image right there of Mr. Lord Roberts himself. So,
I don't know.
all
Does he
right.
have something against Crusader, or is it just me?
Honestly, I haven't seen a decent Crusader ship in a while.
Neither am I, actually. And the Intrepid is, shall we say, controversial.
No, and okay, to be fair, I actually like the Intrepid for what it is because people keep forgetting it's a starter ship.
No, I mean, it's there. It's something. It's still controversial, though.
I guess. All right. Let me go get a drink real quick and then we'll get started. Hold on.
Hang on a sec.
I know it's late, but I can't tell. Is this decaf coffee or regular coffee?
Is this really the time to be testing that out? Don't answer that question, actually. Just leave it. Put the coffee down, boyo. It's not worth it. Even if you have a craving for coffee, this is quite possibly the worst time to find out you chose the wrong kind. My eyes. Ugh. Good grief! What's a guy got to do to find a dessert around here at this hour?
Don't you live in a city that's like full of restaurants?
You know, you would think so, but I don't know. I don't think a lot of people serve dessert at this hour, and honestly, I kind of don't blame them.
Gotcha. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, all right, let's go ahead and just recap what it was like at Bar Citizen for me. Overall, Bar Citizen was really cool. I really thoroughly enjoyed my time there. I had the awesome experience of sitting right next to where Ben Curtis and John Crew were standing. They were just eating pizza right behind me. I just sat there going, "Oh, hey guys." So yeah, Ben Curtis is one of the coolest guys you ever meet. I believe he's the lead ship art director, and John Crew was right next to him, and all that. So there was actually I did was able to like talk about a couple things. They were non-SC related. I always and I did ask the question for certain people: would you add Star Trek like chips? They were like, no. I'm like, okay, moving on. And
Thank God.
like we don't need the Excelsior class, god damn it. But he did ask me like what ships from other franchises do I like, and I literally showed him the Gundam Seed, the Millennium, and I also showed him the Archangel, and I showed him the Gundam Unicorn ship, the Nabal, I believe, and a couple others. So yeah, I was like, I kind of want these kind of ships, and he's like, oh okay, yeah. And I also did ask about the Arastra. I also asked so yeah, but basically the Arastra, like right now, like he is in the design department, so he's not the one that does the scheduling for it. So he was like, at first he's like not too sure why they weren't like moving forward with it, but then I was like, is it maybe because of refining? And he's like, yes, that could be it. So refining, it looks like refining is what's keeping the Arastra from moving forward. So we don't have the gameplay yet. So then the whatchamacallit, then John Crew was actually talking to someone right next to me. He was actually he mentioned that like should RSI should the Orion still remain RSI? Yeah.
It's a fair question.
Yeah, so
I guess let's ask the reverse question for a second here. Is there any reason the Orion should not remain RSI? Is there some pressing reason that there needs to be a change?
to be honest, not really. Yeah, so given the way it is, like it was definitely designed before the time. So yeah, I get why like it could be its own thing. Um yeah, and he also talked about like trying to make it more efficient and seeing where to like move things around in like where his headspace is. So yeah, on it. So that was actually kind of cool listening in on it. He was definitely talking about other things as well, but mostly just like everyone is just shaking hands, wishing him a great CitizenCon. And overall, though, I didn't want to press him on other things. And if anyone, and yes, Ben and Merchantman, banned subject. Do not even bother talking with them about it. I also asked Ben Curtis about the weird silhouette with the wings folded up as well. And he's like, nice try. I'm like, oh man. So yeah. So yeah, but Star Citizen, the Citizen Direct, I personally had to give it a 6, like a 5 to 6 out of 10. But this is also because potentially last year and the year before were these massive spectacles. So like it's kind of hard to compare it to others. But in terms of what CitizenCon was for and who was it directed to, um, I don't think it was really directed at. I don't think it was directed at old players. I think this is for new players. To be honest.
What makes you say that?
So, okay, I'm also lowering your volume a little bit.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. So, a lot of the stuff is. I don't know. Like, it just feels like it was mainly just content for, like, to show how, like, this is a game now. So it definitely feels like. How should I put this? It's really hard to say. Like, they didn't really go into, like, the technical stuff, like about. Well, they did go through Planet Tech, but they didn't talk about like all the behind the scenes stuff and technical things like the development stuff as much. They talked about content mostly because
So more for the
yeah,
masses.
yeah, more for the masses. Because if you think about it, next year is the massive push for Squadron 42. So yeah, yeah. So let's hear what Chris Roberts has to say though, real quick. I'm gonna start that now. Because I didn't get a chance to do this when I was at CitizenCon.
This year has marked a turning point in Star Citizen's history. We have finally moved past the question of whether we can build an architecture to deliver a universe with incredible detail at massive scale, seamlessly, and where thousands of people can all play together. Server meshing has been working pretty much
First of all, we're not even at 1,000 players. We're at 650.
flawlessly at scale for the
I'm
past
going to
9
nitpick here.
months. It has brought a more populated and active verse with up to 700 players online and in the same space at once. It's greatly increased server performance and delivered a much more responsive player experience. I couldn't be prouder of the team. They delivered something no other online game does presently. There may be other games out there that claim large player counts, or even the ability to mesh, but none do it at our detail, scale, and seamlessness. Of course, there will be continued improvements to server meshing and to Star Engine, but having moved past this last big technological hurdle has allowed us to finally focus on quality of life and stability improvements, something that has long been overdue. We're about to deliver our 9th patch in 10 months, with content that has brought Star Citizen storytelling into new and exciting directions. We pushed more than 24 features and more than 2,000 bug fixes. And while there is still a long way to go, the game has gotten more stable, performant, and fun as a result. We see this in player metrics. More of you play every day. The daily average users is up 45% from last year, and your play time is up 15%. So more people venture out into the verse and stay there longer than ever before. And through all that, we've...
To be fair, he is correct. I did play for 12 hours straight one time.
We're not
And-
saying you should, though.
I mean, the fact that the game was stable enough for me to not rage quit due to technical issues and not be disconnected or crash for 12 hours compared to
that's
last
a technical
year.
achievement.
told the dual stories
Yeah.
of Frontier Fighters Assault on Pyro and the moral compromises being made to combat the regen crisis. Now, as those stories come to a rest for the time being, it's time to look forward to the next chapter of Star Citizen, where the instability in Pyro and the callous actions of some pave the way to new adventures, new locations, and new threats. Last year, we announced our next star system would be Nyx, home to the People's Alliance of Levski and bordering the Vandal threat. Today, we're proud to share that your adventures in Nyx begin not next year, but next month, when Star Citizen's third system comes online in Alpha 4.4. 2 new systems in 1 year. That's only possible because of the tireless work of our development teams, server meshing accelerating what's possible, the support teams behind the scenes, and most importantly, all of you.
One slight asterisk, because technically Nyx was the first system back in the day. But it is kind of nice everything's coming back and revamped. Although, and we will see this, the best highlight of CitizenCon was the new Planet Tech.
Now, I do miss that we're not all together under one roof this year, but in many ways, we're more connected than ever. Across the globe, many of you are gathered.
Alright, we're going to speed this up a little bit.
9 of them with our developers in attendance, and countless others springing up in communities everywhere, and all happening simultaneously today. So even if we're separated by oceans and continents, we're bound together by the same passion for space, for discovery, and for this incredible universe we're building together. Whether you're at home or alongside your crew at a watch party, grab a drink, sit back, and let us take you inside our up-and-coming plans for the next year of Star Citizen.
I did grab a drink. 2 drinks, actually. Alright, we're going to skip the story so far because we don't know what this is going on.
In 2025, we introduced 2.
Alright, making a start
You approach
system.
it
Here we
from
go.
kind of 2 angles in a weird way. What is this system bringing to the gallery? How does this new system plug into it, and what does it bring to the table from a sort of a flavor experience? We want to make sure that whatever it's bringing to the company is unique and has some flair to it.
So the Nix system is a remote system where people want to go and live free outside of the pressure and influence of the UEE. It's a remote and rugged system with a lot of hostility coming from the ever-present threat of Vandal.
It's kind of like a frontier-esque thing. It's not lawless like Pyro, it's just kind of out there. Pyro's more like a Mad Max wasteland, and Nix is more like Silverado or like Deadwood, right? It's kind of like a smaller scope.
The emptiness and the loneliness is the defining factor. You're still going to find gangs, you're still going to find hostile presences, but it's where people go if they want to live off the grid.
The People's Alliance is the main peacekeeping force in Nix.
They were unhappy with the direction that the Empire was going under the Messers. They got out. They said, we're just going to start from scratch, build our own society, but build it the way that we think it needs to be built.
They're not perfect, they're just people, but they're doing their best. They want to help keep Nix safe and make it prosper.
They are trying to do the best that they can, but are faced with the realities of dealing with people, which is tricky.
All right. So just to give some context, so like the People's Alliance were basically we used to be like workers, laborers that worked under the Messers and basically like said, screw it. You're not treating us right. We got to get out of here.
The Pyro Star is quite a warm star. Stanton Star is quite neutral. And the Nix is a little bit cooler.
Damn, this place looks so
It has a
good.
star, and it has this dark, really, really dense gas sort of nebulous cloud. And it has points of light scattered around it, and those points of light in this gas cloud is really, really hazy.
They added like space snowflakes
So
apparently.
because Nix is bordering Vandal space, it was important that we have a gap in the Nix gas cloud where you could sort of just in between the clouds see a piece of the Vandal space. It feels so close that it's even like protruding some red light.
There's a red blob that says,
The level designers
"Do
are
not
using
come
it as
here
an
or
actual
you will
visual
die."
indicator of where to place more dangerous POIs.
Don't come here, they'll
Point your
come to
ship in
you.
the direction of it. You
They
should
don't
find,
care.
as we build it out, that you will be in more and more danger. And I think that's really cool. To give more atmosphere, I was testing out adding some sort of space snowflakes, essentially. So when you look towards the sun, you can
Space
sort of
flakes.
see that sort of like sparkle. But then when you look away from the sun, you'll see the reflections and sort of like little glints of light. For the jump points in Nix, we'll have 2 on this release. We'll have one from Pyro to Nix and one from Stanton to Nix. It should be going from Nix to Castra, but we're essentially bypassing Castra temporarily.
Hey, we want to make sure you can get there any way you want.
Glacier
Oh, yeah.
Belt is a
That's actually another thing I asked John Crew about. So the Arastra, I did ask him, why does the RSI Arastra have, being that it's an industrial ship, have so many missiles? And why does it have torpedoes? Because the first thing I thought of was, are we launching these things at asteroids to crack them? That'd be cool. But no, it was just to put them more in line with where RSI came from. So RSI is mostly like military based anyway. So because the constellations, being that they are, they're like a do everything, they have like ridiculous amount of missile hardpoints. So that's why the Arastra is inheriting that design. I'm like, okay, so RSI designers in general just like missiles.
a huge asteroid belt that is in sort of the middle of the system.
The Glacier Belt is a combination of a bunch of technologies that we already had. The asteroid fields we use for planetary rings and the gas clouds. and it's combining them to make something completely new that we've just not seen before.
It's full of resources that are still left unharvested because it's kind of a tricky spot for mining. It's not the easiest place to go, but that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners to go out there.
So the rocks in Nyx are...
Wait, hold on. I actually missed this part. Wait. Are those the rocks we're going to be breaking now? That big?
But that means that there's still a lot of opportunity for independent miners to go out there.
Or is this just for demonstration? Because that is a lot bigger than anything we've mined in Stanton and in Byro.
So the rocks in Nyx are a bit more sharp, like sorts of like icy look, rocky, cliff-like, very different from those in the Pyro and the Stanton.
One of the big differences too is all of that extra added movement that just adds a little bit of extra flair.
It's also a good hiding spot for people who are trying to elude capture, maybe set up ambushes, that type of stuff.
Hi.
Always feel way more interesting flying in those spaces than just, you know, through empty void.
And as we build out the Glacian build over the next year, lots of places to put new content.
Delamar is a very large asteroid in the Glacian belt that QV Planet Services had built a mining base on that got taken over by the People's Alliance and renamed Levski.
And just a history about Levski and Delamar. It's this was actually one of the first places that you could fly around way back in the day in early Star Citizen. So it was a planetoid. So it was actually really kind of cool that there was a space that players could fly around in. So, and then after that, they moved to they started doing like Stanton, and I believe it was it Port Olisar, maybe.
Levski is our first and biggest social outpost for Nyx.
It's kind of like the place where you stop before you do your panning. So it's kind of a San Francisco before you go out to the gold rush.
It's going to be the central hub for trade and hauling and all of the commerce within Nyx and also from Nyx to other systems. But it does have a CD underlayer to it.
Over the years, you're sort of improving the generation method of those asteroids to culminate towards this specific point to make large, explorable location. When you fly towards the Levski, you see this huge gas ring around it. It's scattered small, mid-sized pieces of the asteroids.
Well, Levski is immediately apparently unique by the fact that it's a facility clamped onto the side of an asteroid. The breathtaking views of looking into the belt instantly gives it a unique charm and flavor.
As you approach, you'll initially see a very dramatic borehole that goes all the way through the asteroid. You'll also see growing out.
All right, so it looks like it's got a lot of
there will be
landing spots
along what we call the spine. Lots of industrial pipes and transport systems to bring out the refined mining materials when it was a mining station.
Actually, that's a good question. Would are we once Nyx comes out, would this be a place that you would start in Cake at all, or would you start in Stanton still?
I'd consider it. If you find Stanton too constricting, this is probably the place to go to.
Yeah, it looks like it just has a little bit of everything everywhere here. I'm gonna speed up a little bit, just because it's mostly just a background, and plus we've seen a lot of this stuff anyway. Yeah, but they do have pretty much a little bit of everything. They do have a ship shop, they have habs and all that. Yeah, and pretty much like they have the refinery as well. So like basically just like it's just a hub that can just do everything in, just like the pyro stations.
In that room will be pods.
And that's where the original mine
And Chinese food.
owners would have lived. They're not the nicest, and they're a bit messy, but they're a home for people in Levski. If you head down to the lower view deck, you'll go through into the Grand Barter, which is your main social and commercial area of Levski.
This is where you will see market sellers selling their wares. There will be stalls, there will be kind of more embedded shops.
And that includes things like Corderies, which is your armor shop, and also conscientious objects, which is for weapons.
Conscientious objects. I still find that a gun store kind of funny. And what I see, wait, you can buy the rocket launcher at here? Because like you can see it right back there too.
There's also one of my favorite places, Cafe Musée, which is where you can go down into some of the more rocky depths and grab yourself a drink, and you never know who you meet down there.
Be careful when you ask for a drink on the rocks. You may just get rocks.
If you explore a bit more around the Grand Barter, there's other routes around and little side passages. There's another shop that's away from that area called Teachers.
Teach's Ship Shop is basically where you would go if you...
And this is the ship shop I mentioned
pick
earlier.
up a new ship, buy some ship parts, fix up your old ship, find some new stuff.
Wait, buy a used ship. Wait.
That there sounds like a loaded term.
So, why would you say used ships? Is it going to be cheaper, or is it like...
If it's cheaper, there's a price to pay in some other way.
Or players can sell ships they find on the verse? That'd be kind of
No.
cool. I don't know.
Best not to speculate for now. Let's see what they do later.
Yeah.
We've closed up Dumpers Depot for Levski, and everything that used to be sold there will now be sold at Teachers. Another new area, as well as the cargo shop that we've added, is a refinery deck for Levski. That's where you can take your processed goods, not just from Levski, but from the rest of the Nix system, and refine and sell those goods there.
I really do hope
As
they
a lot of
bring
the
out
content
player
in
refinery.
the next coming
Refining.
releases for Nix is going to be mining related. So it's super important that Levski is a really nice hub for mining type of gameplay. So we're really happy to bring Levski back into the game. It's been gone for quite a few years now.
I think it really provided a unique environment of it's run down, but the people who live there love it and are working their hardest to make it a great place to live.
This is a location that has a lot of nostalgia for you guys, and we don't want this just to be a re-release. We do want you to go, wow.
It's not going to be as complete as Pyro was when it first came out, but it's going to be our first iteration, and you're going to be able to see it grow as we work on it.
Like with everything, we're always learning and improving and finding new ways.
I mean, is there anything more Star Citizen than just building the system while the players watch us build it around them?
It's going to add a nice dynamic to Stanton and be a much more calming of style system than Pyro.
The people that would have played it before are going to love to see this come back, and the people that haven't seen it before, it's going to be a great new location.
This is the first time that I'm going to be able to touch stuff and kind of bring my own content to the game, and that's really exciting to me.
Levski coming back into the game is a huge milestone personally for me. So I worked on the original quite some time ago, so seeing it come back and updated and improved and better is fantastic.
So, my only issue is that like Pyro still feels empty to me.
Mostly because it is.
I mean, they added the CV, the contested zones, and the executive hangars, but that's pretty much it. Like, honestly, like when they added the Hathor and ASD facility in Stanton, I saw almost no reason to go to Pyro anymore.
I mean, think about it. Pyro is a much wider system
Yeah.
with much less stuff to do. I mean, I
Yeah.
hate to say it, but that's kind of what it is. Short of killing other players, but
Yeah, I
that's essentially the
honestly,
gist of it.
yeah, and also a lot of the PvPers find a little bit more thrill fighting in monitored space because there's more ways to attract people to PvP with you because you're marked. That's what I'm saying.
I don't even
Yeah.
think it's the marking. I think it's just because there isn't enough to do in Pyro, so nobody's there. So who's left to fight?
Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, like, if like they really need to get base building. Oh yeah. That's another thing too during the CitizenCon. Not a single mention of social systems. Like that is desperately needed for an MMO. Like any online game. Like Spectrum
Well,
is not where I want to go looking for group.
yeah. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's not changing anytime soon, I think.
Yeah. Alright. This is the next star. Here. Something wicked. This way comes.
So we've talked about Levski, we've talked about the Glacian Belt, but you're probably asking yourself, what's the new gameplay activity we're going to be doing? So let's find out.
Welcome to Nyx is your first experience in a new space station in a new solar system.
It's a mystery to be solved. There's things for the player to explore and look into. There's going to be some twists and turns, of course, some combat, and if you're lucky enough to survive, maybe some good rewards.
This is basically a continuation of kind of our ASD storyline. So in the closing out what we had called our Science Run Amok storyline, we had revealed that ASD had been procuring sort of very black market illegal stuff in order to conduct their experiments. So this mission is basically
that's unfortunate for that guy.
continuing on that trail.
So the Navy has learned that illegal tech is being sold in the UAE, and they're hiring Intersect to investigate. Intersect Defense Solutions is the leading...
This is the one thing I did not like about this presentation. This is what made me dock points from the presentation. Like, why are you telling me the entire story? You just told me that there are going to be mysteries to discover. Like, this takes away the whole entire thrill of going through the story. Now I don't...
What you're trying to say is spoilers.
Yes, they're literally spoiling their own story.
Military defense contractor in the UAE. So the Navy contracts with them a lot for doing various kind of military operations that they don't want to handle themselves. We didn't want players to be working directly for the Navy. The Navy just doesn't call up random citizens and ask like, hey, if you're free, can you fly a helicopter? I guess as a player, when you can think about like, oh, where am I going to be doing missions that are capital ship battles or large fleet scale stuff or military operations, that's all going to come from Intersect Defense Solutions. Intersect have
Okay, that's actually a really cool shot.
The source of the illegal tech is in the Nyx system and an old abandoned QV Planet Services logistics station that's come back online.
So they want the players to figure out what's going on.
So when you come out of Quantum and you start your approach vector to the objective, you'll be weaving through asteroids, going through the Glacian Belt, and slowly the station will reveal itself. Now this is an old QV logistics station. It's pretty beat up, it's pretty derelict, but there's some points of interest that you'll spot as you go through. So the station itself shares design cues from old Pan Am stations found in Pyro. This architectural design found its way over to the Nyx system as the system was being established, but you'll also see some additional design cues that QV planetary services were adding, so it's a nice transition architectural point. It's fairly skeletal in design. You'll see logistics yards and cargo yards, but also facilities pinned inside the asteroid, creating this network of facilities. You'll notice there's a Polaris near the main hub. It's not a normal Polaris. It's damaged, it's broken. It's not a standard corporate Polaris. So at this point, you should be asking yourself, who does this belong to? Away from the Polaris, you'll
Yes, I would like to have discovered it on my own, thank you.
see struts leading to asteroid bases. Now these asteroid bases are locked, so you don't know exactly what's inside just yet. But all of this comes together to form the playground for the mission to take place. So not only is this facility unabandoned, but it's also under attack from a surprising but familiar foe.
My question is this: would these Vandul be the actual Vandul aliens in there, or like a placeholder model?
For the first time in the PU, the Vandal.
You know what doesn't make sense is that they're using the Asperia models, the replica models, so it's not even the real Vandal stuff.
Striking out against outposts and such in the Nyx system, they don't really know what they want, don't know why they're doing it, but it seems like whoever's running the station is really pissed them off.
Vandal raiding parties have been arriving in the system, and they're unaffiliated to any clan. There's small groups coming in and picking at them, but as time goes on, those raids are getting bigger and more frequent.
There'll be the scythes that you're familiar with, glaives and blades that we all know and hate, and a new craft for the PU, the Vandal Stinger.
Again, not as scary.
By some civilians on arrival asking you for help.
So at this point, you have a choice. You can either bug out, mission over, or join the fight. This will be the first time since the PU launch that you'll be able to fight against Vandal aggressor ships.
This fight will be intense. The player should be able to deal with them, but they will have to be prepared and they'll have to come back in to fight off this initial wave, and that won't be the end of it.
After you fight off the Vandal ships, the mysterious inhabitants of the station invite you to come on board.
Which Intersect sort of will encourage you to do because it'll help further their investigation against what's happening here, why these QV stations have come back online.
You dock your ship, you board the station, and it turns out the inhabitants here have a real surprise for you.
The player will be immediately ambushed. These guys are not your friends.
Why do you tell us this? Like, this is something that players should be discovering on their own.
Of course, it's not going to be easy because
The armor, though, is interesting.
people that are
The enemy armor.
are going to fight you every step of the way.
The fight will be challenging, but this definitely will be the warm-up phase of this mission. This will be the players getting a sense of what exactly is going on here, who these new people are. They'll be in unfamiliar armor. They will be...
Actually, that's interesting armor. Wow, the whole new meaning of, like, duct tape plus animal bone. Oh, wait, no, they're, like, using... I think they're using Vandal bones for their armor.
wielding unfamiliar weapons, and we want you to get a sense that you are in a new place, in a new territory, fighting a new faction.
So after you survive this initial ambush, you get back in touch with Intersect, and obviously the question is, who are these people? Why are they attacking? Why are the Vandal attacking them?
At this point, there's more going on here than anyone thought. The director from Intersect is to explore the station and collect as much information as you possibly can.
Along the way, you're going to get to explore some new areas.
It's not just the space station. There's the disabled capital ship. There's asteroid bases nearby with obvious installations there, other forces that the Vandal have been attacking. There's a debris field.
Explore the locations in any order you want and try to find out who these people are and why the Vandal are after them.
You'll find new clues. You'll find ways to solve the puzzle of what's going on at the space station and find out what kind of loot they have for you now that you beat them.
And of course, this is a legally open station, so anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow.
No more Wicklow, please. Oh, God.
This isn't just a one-time event. This is a permanent sort of mission that we're going to be adding to the game.
You can go back and
Actually, wait, hold on a minute.
mission and
who are these people?
Disabled capital ship.
So anything you find is yours to keep and sell, maybe even give to Wicklow.
So if that thing right there over here, I don't know if you guys see my cursor, that thing that's just jutting through the floor, that is actually from Squadron 42. That is a Vandal boarding spike. So quite an interesting little addition here.
This isn't just a one-time event, this is a permanent sort of mission that we're going to be adding to the game.
You can go back and repeat.
Like, we already have it in Arena Commander, where you get to fight the Vandal Swarm, and being able to do that in the PU is going to be, I think, a heck of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think everyone who's getting the Stinger, mainly just because it's just cool looking. And for me, I'm okay without it. Not my cup of tea.
This marks a great milestone for us for not only pushing hard and adding great content this year, we're also being able to introduce the next star system and introducing the next landscape to tell new stories and add new gameplay beats into the ever-expanding universe. So we'll leave 4.4 there. If you're at one of the watch parties, please raise a toast to the great work that all the teams have been doing this year. And I'll be right back in just a few minutes to look ahead at some of the things coming in 2026.
All right, we're gonna skip this part. This is actually the low points that I also did not like too. I did not like the Jared like intermissions. So, yeah, Jared, I blame you. All right, I think this is the part that I'm actually pretty excited about. Like, this was actually the highlight for me. This is the part when they bring in
games. We believe art inspires the best technology, and through the development of that technology, it pushes us to create even better art. When Genesis comes to the persistent universe starting next year, it will change how you experience every world, and not just in the building of the new planets for the Nyx system. We will also go back through Stanton and Pyro and reimagine them through the lens of our technology. Previously, and more traditionally, we'd create slices of biomes, like deserts or forests. This approach moved us forwards and got us this far, but solving the scale was always tricky. And for Star Citizen, we like to do scale on another level. Issues like seeing tiling from our height maps from high altitude, or the unpredictable blending when two biomes connected, were common. But ultimately, things just never felt right. Our worlds were gorgeous, but to us, they still sometimes felt like interpretations. Now, this was a super hard problem, which we needed to solve at the scale for Star Citizen requires. We challenged ourselves to emulate nature in the most believable way, and not just on a planetary scale, but to our level of detail.
So just to give some context, so this does answer the question: are they going to come back and sort of revamp Stanton and Pyro planets? The answer is yes. So whether they're going to do that first before they bring in Castor or Terra is remains to be seen. But there is actually some. That is actually something that I have noticed myself. So when I'm flying above certain worlds, the clouds and some of the textures from seeing from above still looks like it's like a gridded pattern. So it still did not feel natural. So when I saw this part, it looks so much better. All I'm gonna say is my GPU I can sense my GPU screaming when I was looking at it. God, that's pretty.
Genesis, we've made a complete paradigm shift to how we do things. Biomes are now created based on the physical data sets, with the assets being spawned whenever and wherever the correct
Farming?
criteria is
Please?
found. So when you see a forest or a meadow, it's no longer because an artist painstakingly crafted it there. It's now because it simply wants to be there. It fits inside our rules. Genesis also ties into our other gameplay systems. Our new planets are built from the information we create for our different datasets. like height maps, humidity, temperature, soil type, soil amounts, geology erosion data, to name but a few.
This is just breathtaking. Like this is actually one of the main reasons why I like to back this project. Just to see how far they can push it. You know?
This means you can now tell where to find valuable minerals as the geology looks like it would be suitable for it. Where scree piles exist below sheer cliff faces, and where rocks have broken off over time due to erosion. Of course, these...
Ew. What? I just, you know what? I just noticed,
Don't question it. Don't question it. Just move on.
okay. I
Are
thought
you
these
trying
were.
to give yourself nightmares? Just stop looking.
Okay. When I was at Bar Citizen, I thought these were rocks, but now that I'm like actually can see it, of course. What the frick is this stuff?
These new tools.
Do you want to know?
Yes and no. It looks like mushrooms combined with grapes, and then I guess like morphed with jellyfish DNA. I don't know.
Buddy, don't ask questions you don't want answers to.
The attention to detail from the tallest mountain
Yeah,
to the smallest
but this is
valley
definitely pretty
still
though.
our core DNA.
Yeah.
With Genesis, we
The
can
first thing I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna
focus
tell you
on
like,
the
hey,
pointed
why don't you
mindset
touch that?
as we focus on the quality.
Ooh, this is the swamps. That's actually really nice looking.
It provides the quantity.
This kind of reminds me back in the day with when Ion and Lord of the Rings Online. Like I thought that looked amazing as a game, but this is just
Genesis
3
provides
levels
our
up.
planets with the ultimate sense of exploration and adventure, discovery in the purest emotional form. We want you to find that perfect place, with the planets providing an abundant resource to harvest. This is a major part of what exploration is for us. We want that feeling of finding a corner of the universe that you'll fall in love with, and where you want to settle down and build your home.
Build my home.
Now,
All
guide
right,
you over
so
to go deeper into what we have built that allows Genesis to realize our vision. As a reminder, some of the visuals you'll see will evolve and change as we continue our technological development and hone in on the final look for Nyx.
yeah, so before Pyro came in, people have always said that like Nyx was going to be the place where like they're going to have people settle down, and I guess they built this planet specifically people to just build bases to live in to start.
Thanks, Ian. So, in case it's not already clear, Genesis is our name
Hey, look,
for
Moist
building
Master.
technologies that are improving our ability to build worlds, refining those that we've already created, and ultimately expanding our persistent universe to the scale and quality that we all expect. I work on planet tech, so let's talk about how that's continued to evolve since our presentation last year. And instead of just highlighting some really cool biomes that we can create, let's go ahead and show how all this work applies to the upcoming planets of Nyx. So there are 3 planets in Nyx. Nyx 3 is a gas giant, and I think it's blue. It's not going to surface. I don't really know. Nyx 2 is a yellow, toxic. It's got like this high pressure atmosphere, and it's like a very volatile planet with high risk reward gameplay. It's going to have some really interesting biomes for you to discover, but for now, just know it's going to be dangerous, because today we're going to focus on what we consider to be the hero planet of this system.
Ah, yes, a toxic planet where we have to go down there for specific things.
Nyx 1 has got a rugged, remote beauty. It's got a diverse set of biomes.
Hey, look, it's New Zealand.
Rocky mountain ranges to vast, sweeping forests and grasslands, and from damp, expansive wetlands to claustrophobic, festering swamps.
That is so pretty, holy crap.
Concepts give us a fantastic platform to hone our technology in some cases because the current tech couldn't do them at all, or because we want to completely step up our game for them.
My GPU is screaming.
Let's approach this planet in much the same way that you, the player, will, from orbit. The orbit appearance of the planets going forward is far more tied to what is present on the surface. Previously, we had different data that drove the orbital and ground coloring. That's because the orbit was designed to look like vegetation that we'd place on the surface, and the ground coloring was trying to be a mix of soil.
So this is what I was talking about earlier. Like from above, it felt like I was still looking like a grid, but here it looks so much more
The
natural.
organic compound coloring that forms the kind of colors there.
Yeah, this looks so
Now
much
we
better.
offer much more of the data in a unified way. When you look at Earth, you see blues and greens for ocean and vegetation, and brown or yellowy tones for sand and soil. We wanted to keep it as simple as that. The same set of textures and data that define the color of the soil, sand, and rock on the ground are used to create the orbital look. We then assess the presence of vegetation and competition between different species on each part of the planet and use that to blend in tones of green, including variations due to species health and the current season. This creates a far more complete image and allows you to identify features, geologies, and potential points of interest all the way from space. Let's go down to the surface and start with something closer to what you're used to, but in a whole new light.
All right.
When we approached the surface of the planet, we wanted to start by focusing on just the soil and rock. One of the things that was missing from our terrain previously was simply feature complexity. Looking at our contemporaries, we lacked detail at the ground scale. To combat this, we've added a new layer of data. That layer is called the medium tiles. These are intelligently placed on top of the existing 4-kilometer terrain tiles based on slope, soil type, and other erosion data. And these medium tiles don't just create height changes, they also bring in local erosion data both for soil and bedrock size values. And this gives us a whole new level of terrain detail, of scale, and allows us to create far more unique locations across the planet. So now that we've nailed the surface, let's have a look at adding some rocks.
I can already see like players naming locations. Like this is Mount Mine.
We've got
Basically.
two major contributors to the rock content of our planets. Firstly, long desired feature, cliffs. We are on a large scale, very detailed to all our cliffs based on the geology at a given location. This adds an exciting new dimension to steep slopes that we simply couldn't get before. The second is a big one for you ground vehicle enthusiasts. Rocks are now found not scattered everywhere, like spilt popcorn at the cinema.
Thank God.
But only in places you'd expect to find them, thanks to a brand new rock scattering algorithm that isn't annoying as hell.
Thank
Using
you.
physical data generated for each large and medium tile, now rock distribution makes sense and has a physical basis. So if you're still crashing into them after this comes out, that's on you. The rock assets themselves have had a glow up too. We now create rock sets related to a particular geology that look like they originated from the same source. And this ties into how we'll be distributing minables in much more interesting ways too. So now that our base terrain and rock scattering looks good, let's add some vegetations and explore some additional biomes. Nyx One's forests and grasslands are full of trees, various grass species, rock formations, and they're found in all sorts of elevations like mountain valleys, open plains, and dense meadows.
Wow.
And when we start to add a bit of
That is, well, aside from the bulbous stuff, like, this is beautiful. So it looks like there's definitely like rain cover over there as well, so Yep, so there's definitely going to be weather systems here.
Fresh water.
Look at all the ray tracing we can't afford. Oh, hell no, we're not doing this.
My 3080 Ti can handle this, I think.
I don't think so, man. Look at the amount of, especially like with breaks and clouds, that is going to be a terrible amount of ray tracing. You're not going to be able to handle that.
We'll make it work.
A man can dream.
Yeah. So where would you place your base? Would you place it in the swamp, the mountains, grasslands, or try to find like a sort of like coast, I guess?
They begin
Settle in a valley, maybe. That sounds nice.
transitioning into more wetland type biomes. And while forests are super cool, let's focus on the grasslands and wetlands today. So, how are we making these look so great? Obviously, we've had grass before, but never meadows of it. Because until now, we haven't been able to spawn grass in large enough quantities or effectively represented at distance. So we're stepping up our game in terms of spawning, shaping, and shading grass.
These guys better have good game engine optimization, otherwise we're screwed.
To create vast quantities of assets across all biomes, whether it be dense meadows or more complex collections of ground cover like you can see in these wetlands. We are also able to fit our grass tiles to the ground by conforming them to the unique terrain underneath. Now we can finally cover complex terrain shapes with grass and ground cover assets, and as a result they are now gravity aligned, meaning each blade is oriented as you'd expect and not sticking out like before. Next, let's take a look at how we light our grass. Now, as in real life, the shading of a grass blade, or indeed a whole field of grass, is lit very differently to like a flat surface.
This is
We now use a
breathtaking.
solution that shades meadows of grass far more like fur or hair. And this, if you think about it, makes sense. At a distance, a field of grass is far more like a carpet or cloth than a flat surface. This improves how our grass looks from a near perspective, as well as bringing us nicely into how we're solving the distant representation of grass. So, let's talk about the distance problem.
Holy crap.
One of our biggest achievements with Genesis is allowing us to build beautiful biomes out of flora and geology assets like a building set. Can I say Lego?
No.
Too late. But in the past, this broke down very quickly when objects simply disappeared when viewing the same biome from 10, 20, 100 kilometers away.
We can't say anything Disney or Lego related anymore. What?
Because we don't hide planetary transitions and allow you to view complex regions from very large distances, there are almost infinite perspectives from which you can see a location in Star Citizen. So, how can we afford to evaluate complex spawning logic at runtime for the entire swathes of the planet? Enter the virtual terrain.
Okay.
Virtual terrain, or VT for short, is how we now cache and represent our terrain at varying scales. This has been the enabler for all of the lovely advances in terrain complexity and asset spawning we've shown so far. And it's also how we now evaluate and represent vegetation from a distance. When creating the VT for each part of the terrain, we assess if vegetation has covered the ground, and if so, what shading should be applied. For all of our biomes, we're now able to use the same shading model for the distant representation as the close-up asset, whether that's our lovely rolling hills, some more dramatic rockscapes, those muggy wetlands, or even our festering swamps.
I may actually do wetlands for my base.
So yeah, we didn't forget about the swamps, and they're coming to next one as well. Built using the lessons learned and all the technologies we've developed, these swamps now spring into existence from the planetary data. This biome combines all of the elements from the other biomes we've shown you today, from water interaction, denser spawning, unique ground coverage, and I think it creates something really unique.
What is that? Do you see that structure back there? Huh. It's like a downed gate or something. So nice.
Anyway, that's our update on the Planet Tech portion of Genesis and how we're using it right now to sculpt the identity of Nix One. And I hope you're as excited as we are to explore this and everything we haven't shared yet next year.
As you can see, Genesis is now inspiring everyone here to create planets of the quality and believability.
Still seeing a little bit of grid-like cloud covered, but not as bad.
We've always strived for. A meeting of technology and art that I truly believe will set our worlds apart from anything we've done before. And with that said, let's move on to a little travel between systems, literally. Up until now, our mission system has been specific to the star system you're in, meaning a Stanton mission has to take place in the Stanton system, and a Pyro mission has to take place there. We've never been able to link these together, but with the introduction of our third star system, it's time for this to change. And that begins with the introduction of interstellar cargo.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it there, just to go over what we saw. So, yeah, overall, like, this was probably the best part, in my opinion, of CitizenCon Direct. Because I'm more invested in the technology side of Star Citizen rather than like the game itself, like dynamic server meshing and the planet tech, and then like the game can just be built on top of that. But because that they have to run a live service like game to keep the funding up, I understand why they have to keep us engaged with missions. But overall, though, this is the part where I'm like, yes, you've earned the freaking 5 stars for this part of the presentation. So, yeah, it was really good. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and we'll keep going then.
What are you talking about today?
System-to-system hauling missions. Hauling is back.
Jordan said hauling was gone. He doesn't even play the game?
These are exactly what they say on the tin. Missions where you're going to start in, say, Stanton and end in Nix, taking various volumes of cargo between the stations. So there'll be high volumes of cargo that kind of fulfill the purpose for the Hull C and the other series of Hull ships. And there'll be a few sort of more direct routes.
So you might pick up some cargo from Ruin Station in Pyro and go through the jump point to Stanton and drop it off there at one of the LEOs.
The one thing is that, like, I hope eventually we don't have to keep doing this as a play loop, because I do hope, like, in the future when base building does come into play, like, we start having this sort of like player run economy of supply and demand. Like, I need aluminum, I need titanium to build out this thing, I need this for crafting this, building this new ship, because I don't know, I just find it boring just moving stuff from one place to another and just knowing that commodity is not going to be doing anything or not going to benefit anyone except my paycheck.
So if you've never sort of experienced the jump point or going through it, these missions will require you to. They're no way limited. You can do them in any sort of ship you want, any size of ship. I'll be doing them in my Drake cutter myself, between Stanton and Nix.
You can only fit like 4 SCU in a cutter. Is he trolling?
Just a Drake cutter.
I've got a few ships, but the Drake cutter is really cute, so.
One thing that we're looking to add with these interstellar missions is scripted combat encounters where you can be attacked by NPC ships. Maybe the mission giver has tipped off some pirates who are looking to get a hold of that cargo, as well as express missions, which means the deadline timers that you're used to in the regular hauling missions might get really tight, and you've got to learn to be very fast. All of the love and care that has gone into hauling missions so far, with the logistical network and making sure they make sense within the themes of the systems, just as much love has gone into the interstellar missions we're making now.
So does this mean we do need to bring an escort now that like we're gonna have scripted NPC attacks?
At the start of the show, we said we was going
I
to
mean,
build
yes.
the Nix system right in front of you after 4.4 launches next month, and why we want to keep as much of what we're doing behind closed doors so you can discover it for yourself in-game and on your own. We still are excited to share with you a brief look at one of our up-and-coming locations we're calling Rockcracker.
Ah, yes, it's Hathor in space.
Okay, so Rockcracker, Jared, is our internal name.
Rockcracker is where you have to crack a rock. It's a big rock. You want more?
So way out into the Kiga Belt, you'll find these old QV breaker stations. These were originally industrial facilities breaking apart large asteroids and mining them down. But since they've been mothballed and been left abandoned. So you're going to have to find your way inside and thinking about how do we bring this facility back to life. It's not just about flipping a switch. As you bring these stations back to life, you'll be lighting the beacon and calling attention to these long forgotten places.
One of the main features is the laser head, which will require certain things to get working. It's up to you and your friends to find how to get in.
There'll be a variety of options. Whether you're discovering the bowels of the station and mining your way through long forgotten tunnels.
Okay, so it looks like there are hand minables inside the station. Okay.
Or you're going through the main laser entrance. Now, as you're traversing through the facility, you'll find the old engine room. Now, there may be ways to bring the facility back to life, kickstart the engines, and bring power to different parts of the facility. Maybe eventually bringing the laser back online and cracking some rocks.
The secondary gameplay loop is...
Wish we had the Arestra.
You're not there by yourself.
There may be squatters and outlaws in these stations trying to stop you from what you want to do.
I like the music.
So you've found these old facilities, you've brought them back to life. You've systematically brought power to various functions of the facility.
This definitely looks... Okay, this definitely looks unfinished. This definitely looks like it's gray box.
You've activated the laser. You've fired the laser.
You may fire when ready.
You've broken apart the rock. And then you'll be able to fly your ship inside and see what's there.
So you fly a ship into an asteroid.
Yeah. You just get into your ship and fly in and start searching around and trying to find the pieces that you want to mine.
That's cool.
I'm really excited about Rockcracker because it's a sandbox activity. You can kind of go to these whenever you want to.
This content is for players who enjoy mining, who enjoy exploration, investigation, and don't mind a little bit of FPS content while they're there.
Actually, yeah, I can see us doing this a lot. just because like it gives us a lot of different things to do all at once.
Because this one, kind of like Alan and mine, will crack open and show its secret.
And one presumes you can make a decent amount of scratch in an asteroid that's big enough you fly your spaceship into it.
It wouldn't be worth doing if you couldn't make a good amount of coin. Yeah.
Making promises for the econ team.
Yeah. They've got to balance it.
I rather not just use this to sell. I want this to use it for crafting. I hope in the future.
It's for people who want a lot of minerals. When crafting comes in, when all the other mechanics and features
there you
we want
go.
in the game for 1.0 come in, it will be a place where like an organization or a group of like 5-6 people could come and just get a monumental amount of minerals.
So that's a look at some of what's coming over the next 12 months. In addition to what we've shown, there'll be new mission packs tailored to the People's Alliance and their struggles. There'll be events that invest you into the evolving storyline of all 3 systems we'll have in the game. And of course, when we begin populating these with new planets, there'll be a whole host of ground-based POIs, settlements, and structures inhabited by those trying to make their way in the verse. And all of this in service of building star systems that complement the massive corporate yard of Stanton, the lawless ganking of Pyro, and now the new frontier of discovery for the Nyx system. Should I say ganking?
You already did.
All right, we're gonna skip this part here, but Cake, you still around?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah. Well, we can definitely. I guess the last thing we want to kind of just take a look at before we end today is probably just the 3 ships, I guess, right?
Yeah, I guess we can take care of that.
Yeah, because the combined arms stuff, we can. Well, yeah, it is getting pretty late, so we can probably just take a look at the ships part, and then we'll just give feedback.
The persistent universe.
I did meet him at Bar Citizen. Cool guy, John Crew.
The last year has been pretty hectic in terms of vehicle deliveries. I think we've delivered the most we've ever done in a 12-month period, and we've covered all the way from tiny little snubs all the way up to capital ships. We've kind of filled out a few little gaps.
And that's been
some
Curtis.
new ships by some old manufacturers.
We had the Polaris come out, and obviously people have enjoyed playing with that. We snuck the Idris in without none of you expecting it for a while, and it's been a busy year. It's nice to start revisit some of the older catalogue and some of the bigger ships again.
I think my favourite ship from the last year is a tie between the Wolf and the Golem.
Favourite ship in the last year? Probably the Wolf.
I feel like it's the obvious one. I'm trying to think of something else, but I really like the Wolf.
Everyone's mentioned the Wolf. The Wolf's everyone's
Like, I even had to say it to the beds, like, yeah, the Wolf is the best thing you guys put out there. I love it. Now make more. But I also did tell him, like, yeah, and actually that's another funny conversation I actually had with Ben Curtis. So when I was speaking with Ben at CitizenCon, like, he did ask, like, are you pro Finn or anti Finn on the Wolf? And I actually did tell him, like, I actually like the Finn, but I see why people don't like the Finn. Because I liked it because it reminded me of Cowboy Bebop. Spike's ship, he has a fin at the bottom too. But I understand why people don't like it because of it's just adding geometry that is going to get blown off.
Obviously, a return of Kruger, a completely new aesthetic to the game.
The Wolf was, it was kind of everything we set it out to be, and it revived an old manufacturer. We've not seen anything from a while, so yeah, I'm going to say the Wolf.
Make more.
I think it's just an incredibly well-formed ship in such a small package. It really just shows off that Drake aesthetic, giving you the absolute bare minimum needed to perform a role.
I honestly do really like the Zeus. I think it came out really well. It's kind of hard to pin down a favorite, to be honest.
The only thing I don't like about the Zeus is that the Zeus cargo variant was just a really bad setup for cargo. So that's my only feedback on that one. The ES though, I can see I definitely will definitely be getting back next month.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the ES. It has a little bit of everything, but it's also not good at anything.
Yeah,
And
I
its
mean,
only defining feature is what, the radar?
well, we don't even have radar, like proper radar gameplay anyway, but it's got better fuel, more shields, and like what it's supposed to do is supposed to be like exploration, so technically you can live off of it as well. So, but some people would probably want to go with the constellation or the attack or something.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I also don't see anybody getting a Zeus if they get a Paladin, because the Paladin and the Zeus fit that medium-sized role, but the Paladin just goes like, "Hi, I have lots of guns."
And 0 cargo.
Next year,
4.
we've got some super exciting ships coming up.
I refuse to call it that.
Ticking off a few big ones, which is good. We're gonna see again maybe some ships from some manufacturers that don't have that many in their lineup.
Yes. You know what? You know what? Missed opportunity when I was talking to Ben. I should have asked him like when after the show was like, when you meant by the bigger ship, you mean the Kraken and the Pioneer, right? Nothing else we should be aware of.
There's a few big challenging ones starting, so they're good. A breadth of ships, should we say?
The 3 new ships we're going to introduce today all tie in some way to the primary factions fighting over the Nyx system. We'll start with the People's Alliance and Anvil Aerospace.
Hello.
It's a very military-based brand. It's been a brand that's in Star Citizen for a long time, fighting for lots of military contracts and lore, often up against Aegis, and to the point it actually beat Aegis in the past. You will be familiar with a lot of their ships' designs, such as the Hornet and Lightning. Earlier this year, we introduced
Make the lightning good, please. Thank you.
the Anvil Asgard, based on the Valkyrie chassis, which is an extremely popular offering. And this year, we're bringing the concept ship we introduced last year, the Anvil Paladin, to life. The Paladin is a gunship from Anvil Aerospace designed to support ground operations.
A gunship is a ship that's designed to stay in a sustained firefight while dealing a lot of damage, also taking damage.
We don't have a lot of gunships in the game. They're true dedicated gunships. They are quite a tricky archetype to control in game without being too powerful. It's designed with a lot of firepower and high armor and health, but very low maneuverability.
It's multi-crew. It's just built purely for battle. It's got lots of armor, lots of guns, big guns.
It's got a very similar squat kind of form to the Valkyrie. It kind of reminds me of, I guess, like...
The thing is, though, the more I'm looking at this, the less Valkyrie I see. Like, I do see, like, a lot of the hints of the Valkyrie in here, but that extra, like, area for the remote turrets at the bottom, definitely none of the Asgard or the Valkyrie have, and this definitely feels taller.
Like a pit bull, obviously a very menacing silhouette.
It looks quite forward-weighted in its stance. It feels like it's coming towards you, even when it's just sat still, and I think that's something that helps with it feeling intimidating.
If we swing round, following the ship round clockwise, what you'll then see is the first of the side turrets. If you notice the canopy, you'll see that there's a fairly thick space between where the glass is and the hull exterior. That's because it has deployable armor, which can come out...
Yeah, this is actually really cool.
...while you're actually attacking the target head-on.
It's got these really nice kind of dual connected wings with the turrets out on the sides, just to try and give as much kind of range for those turrets as we can get.
Which is controlled by one of the 2 remote stations underneath the bridge. If we come round to the rear, you'll see a rail. Now that rail mounts the main turret of the ship, which is controlled by the...
That animation's really smooth. That's really
Full
nice.
360 coverage underneath, full 360 coverage on top with it. And then the side turrets also have 360 coverage that way around and 180 out sideways. So really you have, between the turrets, pretty much 360 coverage in all directions. One of the unique things about the Paladin is all the turrets are remote and all the crew are located in this one central 2-story room.
A lot of our other gunships, the crew gets scattered across the ship, but with the Paladin, you're all sat together with a nice, cool experience, so you can really feel like you're playing as a group.
You've got the pilot, co-pilot up top, and you've got the gunners underneath, and I think that helps with the intention of what the ship does, because you've got this really nice kind of like gunner viewpoint down, kind of giving this lower coverage.
We added a glass floor just to keep the two connected. I think that really helps with the feeling that you're all...
I thought the glass floor would be retractable, but
working together.
I also don't see...
That said, if you
I
don't
feel
have
like that's also a
to
safety
fully
issue.
crew a Paladin, you can still fly it and engage in combat solo.
Obviously not as good as if you have a full crew, but you can't always guarantee your friends are going to be online.
As a solo ship, it's pretty capable of doing a variety of missions within Star Citizen. So if you want to run this ship solo, you can take on combat missions that, say, other heavy fighters like the Scorpius or other ships such as the Drake Cutlass could do. Coming aboard the Paladin, you enter into this sort of armory ready room area. You have a variety of suit lockers and weapon racks in this room.
Everything's very militaristic, stripped back, simple. It's a very functional space, but you'll find everything you need in there.
One of the improvements from the original concept is we've added a small dedicated cargo bay area, allowing you to store actual SCU crates. Forward of that is the route to the lower gunners, and then upstairs.
I will say this, the interior of the Paladin, which we did explore earlier on the stream, it is a very, very well thought out interior. Very efficient, and it doesn't take very long to get to where you need to go. So I have to give them an A+ on the Paladin for this one.
You have the bridge area, and then off that central area you have the dual living quarters, one on the left, one on the right, and then at the rear you have the main sort of engineering area where the majority of the components are. Also within the upper traversal area you also have a little breakout area with seating, food machine, toilets, etc.
I think it's a very cool looking ship. I think we did a really nice job of taking what was there in the concept and adding an extra level of detail and trying to kind of push things forward.
I think it hits the nail in terms of a really solid military ship. It's really complementary to some of the other ships in the Anvil lineup, so something like the Valkyrie, where you've got this big drop ship, you know,
Okay, so maybe it was just the way it was designed, but yeah, I think the Anvil Paladin I think is just taller.
Paladin's there just to make sure it's safe, make sure no one messes with you, and just basically scare people away.
The thing I like most, I think, about the Paladin is that it's very clearly got a crew of 4, and they all kind of work and operate under the same conditions. You know, the pilot, co-pilot, and the 2 gunners, they're basically all equal on the ship. There's one toilet, everyone's got the same style of bunk. When they're at work, everyone's at the front of the ship together.
It's really odd to me that you called out you like that there's one toilet for 4 people.
Well, you know, it's you all work together. You're all equal at work. You're
Toilet seat never gets cold.
Toilet seat never gets cold. Yeah.
So that's the Anvil Paladin. Whilst originally a military-built craft, it's the perfect ship for folks on the frontier trying to defend against threats. And talking of threats, let's move to our next ship, a replica from Hesperia.
All right, so
Hesperia are a high-end manufacturer. They specialize in recreating exotic and particularly alien spacecraft.
Effectively what they're doing is they're remanufacturing them, making them a little bit more suitable for kind of human flight. And the latest offering from Hesperia is the Vandal Stinger.
all right. I like and hate this thing. One, I mean, I get it. It's cool. It's exotic. The one thing I don't like about it is just that, like, this is supposed to be, I think this is supposed to be the counterpart to the F8, but it has like 4 size 4s and 2 size 2s and 1 just big screw you size 5, and the F8 is like, hi, I have a bunch of size 3s and 2s. Yay.
The Vandal are big, scary space aliens. They're like 7-foot tall, evil war race that sort of take over, steal technology, absorb it, fuse it all together into their own needs.
They are the relatively nasty aliens that you sometimes hear about and haven't seen much of yet. They also make really cool spaceships.
The Stinger as a Vandal heavy fighter was reserved for their higher tier sort of ace pilots or high-ranking members within their clans.
Which we did see actually in Squadron 42.
So to something like the FA or I guess the Scorpius.
It packs a lot of firepower in quite a large frame, so it's a very, very tanky spacecraft. The firepower is almost unrivaled in terms of just both the number and the size of them. So it's there for players who don't want agility. They don't want to be in and out quickly. They want to be there brawling with big guns and taking all the hits. One thing Asperia have done differently with the Stinger is they have done away with the majority of the bespoke weapons.
They heard everyone's complaints about the glaive and blade and have stripped off the original Vandal weapons to allow customization for standard human weapons.
With the exception of the single size 5 gun.
Because it was too well integrated into the hull, even for Asperia to remove.
All the additional weapons are generic mounts, so they can be swapped with any of the existing lineup that we have in the game. By doing this, provides greater flexibility to the end user, and this is something Xperia wanted for the civilian market. For that
All right, I gotta get going. I'll see you tomorrow.
Not a problem. Thanks for dropping in.
Oh, take care.
Yep.
Plasma cannon. Functionally, it is the same as the existing size 5 plasma cannons on the Scythe and Glaive, but it is a sort of Gen 2 model and wraps it in a different aesthetic compared to those models. You'll see they're very much older Vandal styling. This is much newer Vandal styling, but underneath it is the same weapon that people have used for years.
Yeah, I will say this.
Our job is
it definitely makes a good statement. Like, if anyone decides to get this, I don't think they're going to be disappointed just by the look. I mean, yeah, it looks alien, it looks exotic, and I think people are going to have a good time.
On the PU was to take the Stinger from the squadron team and prepare it for life in the PU. We took an opportunity to take, this really well-established art style and, add extra details where needed.
So the exterior is a real blend of these kind of hard surface, kind of rare alloyed kind of wings, and then underneath this real kind of organic structure that kind of webs all of the ship together. It connects the thrusters in, it connects all.
This is the part I'm not a big fan of. This is more of a personal preference. I can see this is really cool, like overall as like a alien thing, but for me, I like mine a little bit more boring, I guess.
You can tell it's very different from the Vandal ships that are currently in the PU. If you take, for example, the way the cockpits are constructed.
Up at the front, we've got this big kind of bubble dome that gives the cockpit quite a unique shape compared to some of our other ships, and also gives the pilot a unique position within the ship and kind of gives great visibility out the front.
Boarding the Stinger is a little unusual compared to other ships, obviously being alien in nature.
You're going through a ramp at the rear, and it leads you kind of straight up into the belly of the ship.
There's, lots of organic detail, rib cages, kind of strange alien forms.
On entry of the cockpit, the seat kind of comes down towards you, and you kind of climb over the back of it a bit like a motorbike.
You're basically riding into the cockpit. It feels very much like you're being carried inside the cockpit.
Into the traditional prone flying pose that Vandal pilots use.
You know what would be really cool? Before, I don't have the Stinger, so hopefully someone maybe tell me, maybe they have a little gun rack on the side, just so that when you exit the cockpit, you can quickly grab your gear and stuff and go.
I'm very happy with the Stinger. I think the team have done a really good job of making something that feels different, it feels alien, but it suits our lineup of ships and it suits our universe.
I think the guys did a really good job of respecting the direction and vision from the original Stinger. And
quick question, actually, is this using the updated models from Squadron 42, or is this still an older model?
Vandal ships in Squadron.
We've tried to take a lot of inspiration from movies and other science fiction material, but I think it sits well within the Star Citizen universe.
So we have the Paladin for the People's Alliance. We have the Stinger for people that really like Vandal and want to try and pretend to be them. But what about the other mysterious faction we have?
What do you mean pretend? Can we please be like, I understand like this is supposed to be a human journey, but I really, really want to make alien characters too.
So Gray Chowdhury got his start as he was working at a
Smoking gameplay confirmed.
cargo center out in Odin. He started being able to get his hands on some stuff that other people couldn't, items that necessarily you couldn't find on a store shelf, but you wanted anyway.
I think Gray is interested in, happy customers. Gray just sees themselves as a conduit to get these things in the hands of people who would appreciate them.
And I think that his latest offering is really going to turn some heads.
So the Shiv, well, we don't really know what it is, to be fair.
It's what happens when someone who is a genius at aeronautics and ship assembly is given free rein to do whatever they want. It's the best of whatever they can find lying around, put together to make something truly unique, wonderful, arguably beautiful, and just released out into the universe to see what happens.
I think we saw this in a Squadron 42 trailer, to be honest. When when they were getting out to surround that M50 in the trailer. So I could be wrong though. But the thing is though, like what this opens up, in my opinion, is that every now and then they can now put out a kit bash machine and call it a gray, like the Gray's Market ship. So this can actually add some variety, especially when we're fighting people, and also like maybe find some like unique combinations. So like as this one here, like this actually combines some of the really coolest, some really cool combinations and aesthetics from Drake and Anvil, which are arguably two of one of the most popular stuff. And maybe we'll see like a Crusader mixed with Misk or Misk mixed with Kruger.
At first glance at the exterior of the Shiv, I think most people will probably recognize there is more than a fair proportion of the Cutlass.
Yeah, and as much people say like, oh, they still have a ship backlog, their backlog is getting actually pretty small now. So like this could be like a good like downtime ship if like there's someone not working on something. This is something they can do. Just have some kit bashing like sessions.
Visible there, but it's had quite a few changes to it.
As you look a little bit closer, you'll start to pick out elements from other ships. You've got, main thrusters that are from the Valkyrie.
Even the bits that are obviously a Cutlass have had panels welded on, panels removed. The top turret, which is now remote, is just this hodgepodge amalgamation with multiple other ships' turrets. And then the changes continue onto the inside where, again, it sort of feels Cutlass-like, but then you'll find there's bits of Crusader ships just integrated into the wall instead of what was there originally.
It has lost its side entrance, some of its cargo capacity, but what it's gained is it's gained visually more powerful thrusters, it's gained a really kind of nice set of belly thrusters, it's upped its firepower.
As ever with the refined work from Gray's Market, you can see that great care was taken to the health and safety to ensure that there's no trip hazards anywhere.
This is what I don't like about this, is that like I want the mess in my ship to be my mess, not left over. Like, I do hope we eventually could just like, hey, I'm gonna move these wires out of the way. Thank you.
There's like loose cables, panels are exposed. If you look carefully, you'll notice there are like tools laying around in the cockpit.
It's gained a toilet.
Ah, yes, the bucket.
Bucket.
Yeah, it's one for doing stuff, and then you need a second one to wash your hands. It's not an animal.
It has very much taken that ethos of Drake and moved it down a level, which I think is.
How do you even begin to describe the madness that created this? It's the Shiv.
I mean, I'm glad that at least they had fun with this one.
This is something new and different for Star Citizen. Where did it come from?
I'm not going to answer that.
Just
Nope.
nothing. Just
No comment.
It came from Squadron
Greg
42.
goes to places and talks to people. I mean,
I'm just gonna say that.
you know, there are just many ways to find these things that, you know, I mean, are they legitimate, you know, manufacturers? No. Are they operating on the right side of the law? Maybe not, but, you know, money's money.
Does Gray have a motto, an ethos to live by?
It probably comes down to, don't ask where I got it, don't ask how we got it.
Don't worry about it. Just ask if you want it.
I think the ship.
I do know quite a few people literally bought it. And the price-wise, so just to give you guys some, I believe a Cutlass is about $110 right now. This thing's about $150. Warbond $135. I personally would never own this ship with real dollars, but definitely I would love to see the ship in game and probably pick a few up in game. So, yeah.
Ship is for someone that is looking for something a bit different, a bit away from the norm, that just wants something that's unique.
It's
I think someone called this a starter, like advanced starter ship, just like the Cutlass, which I kind of see where they're getting at. But at the same time, I'm like, no, just get a Cutlass, guys.
It's a fun ship, but it's also really strong, to be honest, and it's absolutely a statement.
Yes, indeed.
I'm happy with the 3 ship offerings. They are obviously very combat heavy.
There's something we wouldn't normally release all at once, but honestly, all of them are a different statement, and they're all cool.
As always, super excited to release these ships into the game and just see how players react and play with them. It's always fun to see the quirks and the shenanigans that people get up to with them. So that's talking ship for another year. So,
Yeah, you can do the thing with Lexi. Talking weapons.
So I've just been informed that we have to do a bit of a timeshare agreement this year. So we have to throw it over to Alexi for Talking Weapons, which is an extremely original name.
So I'm sure a couple people noticed that they did not do a silhouette like last year and the year before. And earlier in the stream, I did talk to Ben during Bar Citizen yesterday, and he actually did mention. He mentioned that Jared did not ask for it. So because Jared, I think himself is in charge of the productions and stuff, and like the marketing in terms of like content. But Ben and John did not put together a silhouette this year because it was not asked for the presentation, so they didn't have to. Now, in their defense, I get it. That's fine. Doesn't have to, and he didn't rule out it. Now, it's not guaranteed. He didn't rule out that there may not be a silhouette. There may be a silhouette, maybe a video, maybe before the end of the year, perhaps, but on its own or in a different show. But for now, that's pretty much the backstory of what happened from what I was told, directly from Ben. And and then, like, funny enough, actually, Execute from Inforunners was messaging me to ask him about, like, yeah, okay. Yeah, so if everyone wants to know, that's what happened. And to be fair, the silhouette that they released, they said it was like 12 to 18 months. So honestly, they still haven't finished a lot of the silhouettes. We still have that, I believe, the not Spartan. What do you call it? It's that Anvil. It's that Centurion. The Anvil Centurion chassis, like, looking vehicle. We saw the Pioneer. We saw the Ironclad in there. And also, we didn't get the weird, like, fold-up ship that looks like a Lambda shuttle. Yeah, so there's quite a few, and also that other, like, flat ship that we don't know about either. So there is quite a few things that have not been released yet. So yeah, I'd say probably. I think you know what, 18 months kind of lines up with Invictus. So hey, we may see from last year. So we may see the next silhouette video during Invictus or something. Who knows? But either way, yeah, that's pretty much why. Well, and that's it to it. So if anyone's personally, I went ahead and just figured out my upgrade to the Paladin. I've been holding on to the Paladin upgrade for a while, and it's pretty good. So um, hopefully these ships do find a place in the verse, and it definitely looks like it was a good offering this year. As mentioned, as I always tell people, like only spend more money if you want to just contribute to the game or if there's something you really must have. But other than that, like yeah, everything can be earned in game eventually. So, but the cool part about Star Citizen, and I'm gonna say this in terms of monetization, because right now World War ships, a lot of their stuff is getting almost as expensive as some of the ships in Star Citizen. It's kind of ridiculous now. Um, but in Star Citizen, at least they have a buyback program, something that like a trade-in program. So like if something you don't like anymore, there's something new that comes out that you like better, you do have the option of trading back for store credit and just buying the new thing. So no one's really missing out. And you don't see that with any other game. But for now though, that's talking ship. And I'm gonna go ahead and move on from here. Um, Let me see here. You know what? To be honest, it's actually getting late. We can probably continue this some other time. So hopefully, you guys. Thanks everyone for stopping by. It was amazing fun. We checked out the Paladin. Didn't play a whole lot of games because I had a late start, but it is 12:37. It is Monday, so I will be doing the podcast with my two friends at Start Select Connect. That's another channel I run, so check that out whenever you guys have the time. And yeah, and thank you everybody who stopped by to talk. And this is Warbotniks. I will be doing probably some deck building next week. Oh, you know what? No, Tuesday I'll be playing PAX Day for the 1.0 launch. So we'll see where that goes, see how server meshing works for them, and see how well they improved since I last checked up on them. So PAX Day on the 14th, maybe Wednesday as well. All right then. See you guys around, and let's see where can we send our group here. All right, we'll go to Sylph. I actually don't know this person.
See the sliding values on the left?
Yeah, I see those.
All right, I'll see you guys later, guys.
Why does this? Oh no, I got a raid.